Answer Niebeko in the story, so no. Please lend me your ears just for some few minutes. Now, obroni frebi be visceral fat. Now, basically, no visceral fat no sradie accumulate around your abdominal organs. Inti se we fusha se kesia na se visceral fat unya. Na yamaya ti asiye se yare domo a ekum Ghana fo bebre na no because of sa visceral fatty. Type 2 diabetes, heart disease, cancer, high blood pressure, sleep apnea, insulin resistance, and the likes. Nini na sa visceral fatty and na causes adye. Na etiefo eya na nkrofo bebre na no efa slimming tea. Yesi eduro bi wo ho a wonom a ebema wefu atwe. Nanso omo a wo mo fa se nro ni na no bedi adanse se wanom sa nanso wefu entwe. It is because you can't target fat loss. Untumi nka se mafon aye kese nti me pese mafon pe etwe dabi. If you really want to lose your visceral fat, then you have to decide to lose weight. Until decide say we lose weight and no na sa o visceral fat no ebeko. Me obi a na first no ohwa na mini visceral fat no na wo me ho pan atare a me hye about 4XL but no kra no hwe mu ya obehu ne se na me fuso. Na I was able to reduce my weight from this to this. And the atare we a singlet na so hu se mefu ayeden epie wom. Na tricks bi ene revelations bi ena minyae ara metumi de reduce weight we. Na sa nyama we ni na no mintumi nka wa hande matro ewo book mu. Na wo broni kan asem se opese odi adepa esie bibini a fashe book mu. Mesrewo, if you want to lose your visceral fat and then get yourself out of the range of sayare don bebre we aye kana, the book is in the comment box. You can pay through mobile money. At this point, we are still running promotion. Just 30 cedis, and then you get the book on your phone. If you want the hard copy, it is also still in the comment box. Or click here. Now call Amazon if you are outside Ghana, and you get the hard copy. Michelle, on your screen as you are watching this video, you can click on it and get the book wherever you are in the world. Aside book, you tonton other merchandise to say cap. Eche ene nyama. So even if you don't like the book, you can get this merchandise and get it. Mesremo, let us live a healthy life. Yanko in the story so. IMF for ama a strong warning to Ghana. Na IMF for ntiasi say say senior wa mo expect say Ghana cedi no ebe perform poorly against the dollar no. Omonti asiesa inti omama Ghana warning, omama Bank of Ghana warning. Say omunyai ejuma pa omoya ema Ghana cedi no ahonde no ejina. I'm going to explain and we are going to learn a lot from this video. Michelle, watch the video to the end because we are all going to learn a lot. You better hear documents bimo. Ni ehun say IMF ade a wo mo eken e wonjina so ana say they are just getting jealous. Now, Unim say we are still under IMF4 program. Now, I'll say reduce interventions in the forex market, IMF to Bank of Ghana. Now, quickly, Yankai. I'll say the IMF Executive Board on July 7th, 2025, concluded its fourth review of Ghana's ongoing 18th IMF program, which began in May 2023. Completion of the review unlocks a new disbursement of $367 million, bringing the total support under the program to $2.3 billion. Also, this is a positive development for the Ghanaian cedi. The injection of $367 million into the economy will boost foreign exchange reserves and support the local currency. However, the IMF is urging the Bank of Ghana to reduce its interventions in the foreign exchange market. In its post-review statement, IMF Deputy Managing Director Boli urged the central bank to reduce its footprint in the foreign exchange market and to allow for greater exchange rate flexibility. In the IMF foresee, Bank of Ghana adia wo mo ya ema cedi no enya honde no munyai no muma foreign exchange no enya flexibility. Now I don't understand what they call flexibility, but in this context no you understand say flexibility kra wo mo kan say yenyai na Ghana cedi no enko ati ase yenyai na nka Ghana cedi no ebien lusu na ho de yenyai na nye flexible na the Bank of Ghana aye na ase de omo achi cedi na gina dodo yenyai na cedi no bedwane a wonwane. Basically that's what it means, because until says our new government we be ba omo de omo measures ebeba no now the Ghana cedi was going up. It is and the wo ka tre aban ne say onyai mu na Ghana cedi no onyai na onkwa. That is basically no ope say Ghana cedi no essay meboa. So that's basically what the IMF is saying. He also encouraged the adoption of a formal FX intervention policy framework to guide market operations and improve transparency. This comes at a time where the cedi has posted significant gains. The currency, which began 2025 at 14.7 to the dollar, is now trading at 10.39. According to Bloomberg, the IMF's call suggests that this appreciation may be partly the result of heightened Bank of Ghana interventions. Also, the press release did not provide exact details of the bank's market activity. However, the IMF acknowledged that higher gold export earnings, rising remittances, and to a lesser extent, oil revenues have all contributed to the cedi's recent stability and strength. Not just IMF wakra etremwa gold eka ho ema ye cedi no ahonden. And so enra when His Excellency John Dramani Mahama ene Sami Jemfi ekoko lanche the task force for the gold board no Mahama ka say the brain behind ye cedi no ahonden ni na no gold board policy a womde aba and the aban pe na woton gold no. Yes. Inti na no ana aban pe na sa gold board policy no no inti IMF confirm say indeed gold no na ama ende yesika no emu ayedin. Also the fund is now calling for a more rules-based approach to foreign exchange operations. It wants the central bank to adopt a formal FX intervention framework to increase transparency, limit discretion, and anchor market expectations. Now, this is what the IMF is saying. I'm seeing, say, a lot of Pan-Africanists are angry. In some way, what can they say? Say, oh, you're buying na IMF, say, or more tiawa, not to say you are doing something right. And I'm going to explain why people are saying that. You understand why people say that. Into Nkrofo say IMF for supported the oh yeah, not to say, oh yeah, the bonnie. Into mainly no better. Na IMF for almost supporting a banya womu imposing more taxes on their citizens. That is why ende MPP for a document they call to IMF when in 2023 see per IMF bailout no omoka say quarterly no they will increase utility tariffs. Sa document mbeki nkai mamuni amu huye IMF de omo peno no muntutu taxes mu yewe mu mon crofo na se mo ma mo ho nkyere mo ene na IMF for pe nti se IMF for ebo waba so dia na te se wo ye bibi a ebe ma Ghana for ho akyere mo na so se IMF for kaseti ya odia na te se wo ye bibi ebe ma on crofo no omo ho ahenhan omo. And a lot of Pan-Africanists on social media are blasting the IMF and they are praising Ghana. Say IMF asha say emo kaseti Bank of Ghana dia not to say Ghana for they are doing something right. Now, I want us to check something. Now, let's go to Bank of Ghana for official website. And let's check the role of the Bank of Ghana, because IMF is telling the Bank of Ghana, say, you shouldn't do some of the things amoye. It's yen checking Bank of Ghana official website no on functions as a central bank. Any or see formulate and implement monetary policy aimed at achieving the objectives of the bank. The first aim of the Bank of Ghana is say, you be formulate now you implement monetary policy a so that achievements be a yen Bank of Ghana ye wono yenya. This time around, the achievement of the Bank of Ghana is to reduce inflation. Is to make sure say the cedi, right, or sorry, goals, and so they'll make sure that the cedi will be stable, and they'll make sure that inflation is low, and they'll make sure that interest rate is also low. And the goals of the current Bank of Ghana board. Now, Sanyama we nebema Ghana for businessmen omo ho ayeden Ghana for your lives no ebema cost of living aba from na ma Ghana for ye ho ayeden atoyen inti se Bank of Ghana ewo go se obe implementing monetary policies, prudent monetary policies a ebema ye cedi no enya honden na sende cedi na enya honden na Bank of Ghana ebe katre IMF ebe katre Bank of Ghana say onja de oye na. What does it mean? So basically the Bank of Ghana is doing its job, they are getting results, and the IMF is telling the Bank of Ghana say stop doing your job because you are getting results. Basically that's what it means. Because the first function of the central bank is to implement and formulate and implement in that order monetary policy aimed at achieving the objectives of the bank. So what are the objectives of the bank this year or the new government urban? What are their objectives? To reduce the forex, the cedi dollar rate. It is one of the objectives of the Bank of Ghana. So if they formulated and implemented monetary policies to achieve this, what is the IMF talking about? The second one was it promotes by monetary measures the stabilization of the value of the currency within and outside Ghana. I am reading the functions of Bank of Ghana. Because the Bank of Ghana function, they say, obe promote by monetary measure. Obe making sure say Ghana ye cedi no enya honden ebe ye stable. It is a cedi no. That is why under NDC, Semunia Mobekaya, for a very long time in John Dramani Mahamad's first term, the cedi was really just around a certain point. It was just around 3 cedis, 4 cedis. It didn't really go that high. Say from 3 cedis now got ebia 7 cedis. Unlike MPP or mobile umbefa free 4 edico 15. Inti no, the cedi becomes more stable. Inti for the very long time, the Bank of Ghana was more second function. And they say they will make the cedi stable. Inti for 4 years to come, se cedi no ende baby than 10 cedis. Dollar no 10 cedis na dakrana. At least it helps businessmen. So they will be able to make projections. But the MPP no, na emwa businessmen. Because ebia wakwa kra nyama ba. Okwa kraba ende ochinechi next week, next month na cedi ne movie from 10 to 12. From 12 to 15. Waboka. Wakwa bobosia in dollars. Wakwa kra nyama in dollars. Se me tonwa wie na me di abremo. Oton ade ni wie by 1 year. Cedi ne movie from 10 to 15. Waboka. Because watonwa wie afei oton no based on enyama no the dollar value a 10 a wakoko fae. But oton no about a year wie no ende cedi ne do 15. Automatically waboka. Afei wokotua sika ne back in dollars amani pakrona. Anu na also penny sika eka ho. No convert ko dollars e de koma se obroni no. Waboka. Inti the Bank of Ghana say they will make sure that the cedi will be stable at a particular level. Inti sende a 10 ne da krana o the next 2 years. Eko 11 krana still enche danye difference the same level, stable. The second function of the Bank of Ghana promotes by monetary measure the stabilization of the value of the currency. Institute measures which are likely to have a favorable effect on the balance of payments. Regulate, supervise, and direct the banking and credit system. And you see, the rest of the things no. But I want to let you understand when it comes to the forex market. The function of the Bank of Ghana and the first 2 functions, if you go on Bank of Ghana official website now, the first 2 functions, no, it tells you that the Bank of Ghana has a role to stabilize our cedi. And so if IMF is now telling the Bank of Ghana, say, reduce the influence or the intervention in the forex market, munya nenye flexible, essentially you are telling the Bank of Ghana to renege on their duties. Essentially, you are telling the Bank of Ghana to reject their duty, to ignore their duty. Is that not what the IMF is telling? You are telling the Bank of Ghana, say, Omwejuma Edomo website, first 2 functions, most important ones. Because we are all listing the most important one obeka. It's the first 2 most important functions. No curtain say one ye. Obi baby say dientia na IMF can same way at Bank of Ghana. Why is the IMF telling Bank of Ghana to do this? Now let's go and ask AI. Say IMF krano, how do they make money? IMF no. What do they gain? Because they be or maybe mismanage nisika no we ko IMF. But there should be something in IMF or IMF for they are willing to help people who are mismanaging their funds. There should be something in IMF. Mo. They be from our mobile. So let's ask AI. It's a very simple question. I mean, bisa AI. What benefits does IMF gain from bailing out a country? Into IMF for bail Ghana for out area. So say President Akufo-Addo dey call ya wo mo bailing out no. O mo bailing out area. En fa so be na IMF no omunya. Yentie the AI ekan. Or say the International Monetary Fund gains several benefits from bailing out countries, primarily centered around maintaining global financial stability and promoting its own influence. The first thing, say a benefit at IMF for a gainy, and they say, they maintain financial stability global, emma eviaseno, I say, or no, they were tuning when she was say, more bien deka, e will be muncho babeboa, not to say, or ye, a tunwachi juma wiase. That's what they are saying, right? We are. Or say a promoting or no IMF nankasa ni influence. E mo no IMF nankasa no odimu. Onya ebu okasa obetie no. Because unim say asume si de me hie sika ye no ho na meko. Nti sende me ye bibi na wakasa e wo se metie no nti ma IMF worker no they have influence over the countries because indeed it is true. Obi ade bia wo boa o e wo bibi ho no. Udi obi nya asem na oba bekato se da bia asem no twabo asa obi twabo because unim se nipa ko no boa o. Obi tia office na afe uni obi nya asem na nipa ko no tia office na o tia o ma odidi o ma osika ma odidi no wakato se o asumesi Mr. nipa ko ni nya de twabo so obi tie no because oboa o nti eno no IMF no eyemfa so munya efrim. As these benefits include preventing economic crisis from escalating, fostering macroeconomic stability in member countries, and strengthening the IMF's role in the international monetary system. Now, let's go to financial benefits at IMF for Guinea and listen to what the AI said. I say, while not the primary motivation, IMF lending also generates income for the organization through interest payments and fees. This revenue helps the IMF to finance its operations and continue providing assistance to member countries. Also, in essence, the IMF's benefits from bailouts are multifaceted, encompassing financial, economic, and political dimensions. Not just the IMF for omobeboa obia. Mfaso munya yebebre. Eba ni sika semwa IMF for sika womoma ye ni na yebetua ba ko enye free. Ni etia ye di nsihu ebeka ho. Eno na ema IMF nye sika. Inti IMF magana 1 cedi a yebetia sa 1 cedi no near dem faso be 50 pesos account. I'm not saying that's the rate, but just for people to understand. IMF ma ye 1 cedi a yebetia sa ne 1 cedi na ma no ye dem faso e bia 10 pesos and 20 pesos beka ho. Eno san faso no na ema IMF nye sika. Inti sebe mprediasa de bia oba bebo bosuan wo me ho na minim se o mesmanage na sa bosuan na de bia me de ma no I mean very simple. Okay, very simple. Me mo bi ntia me ma won tia e man say oye obi a on ware ye na uni yere, right? Ena me nu aduane ton ena oye me customer pa oye me customer pa na so me nu aduane ton na me betia ne se afi waware o ware ye no Sisi a wo yere say o ma won to abontin so aduane biom. Am I going to be happy or I'm going to be sad? Oyere no asem a o ka na ya de pa o because ono na oyere sisi a wo be nu aduane ama o. O manage wo fie yi. Nti o ma won spend sika because they bia wo ba beto aduane wo me ho a o ka ho bi. Even say every day wo de want to aduane wo me ho kra na enye 100 cedis. Na afi wo yere say da bi sa 100 cedis na de bia de to aduane wo me ho no fama no obetumi di emu 30 cedis ani aduane ama de bia wo fie na mo save 70 cedis. Will I be happy or not? Even though it is a good decision our year no or take, obviously I'm not going to be happy because probably no una we me customer kese. One man me to aduane me making 100 cedis that day. Not just say o year dia why no. One man me 100 cedis abo me. So I am not going to be happy with oyere even though dia oyere no asem a work no to you no e ya depa. That is what IMF is sort of doing right now. Because they know say Ghana no it is just about the cedi rate. Say cedi ni is stable and no Ghana for who they say for the next 4 years the cedi is stable at this level of 10 cedis and no. Ghanaians are not going to complain say nyama boarding inflation and cost na saying ohwe Bank of Ghana for ohwe Bank of Ghana for omwangasa on my website in so you see something beautiful. Obehu say inflation rate for the very first time in so many months. Inflation rate is lower than the 91-day treasury bill rate. Any inflation rate is 13.7 and the 91-day treasury bill is 14. So for the very first time in this country, investment is beating inflation. And so if you invest your money, it is good. Investor confidence increase for the very first time in the history of this country. For the not in the history of this country, but for the very first time in so many months, right? This is what is happening. So the economy is recovering. If the economy is recovering this way, Ghana is not going to go back to the IMF. How is the IMF going to get money? Now you me customer dey bia ba beto ade 100 cedis. Nende wakwa wa yo yere si ompe. Wo say na menye sika. Wo na ya menye sika dey bia. Ti me catch you say Charlie catch you yere say ye na bra beto abonten so eduane ni bia. So betem ase. Say dey ntia make us an say o yere no ye bibi. Ntia IMF won sem a wo mo ka no. I know say ende MPP fo bibiri ebe sha ase e dey propaganda. But what would tie me no? This is the understanding you need to get. Say IMF for you see because of this Cynthia na yana nkrofo ka say IMF for air cancer mboni afa oman bi ho a na kire say oman na ya adepa enti se wutie mi na support NDC a mesrel maweninje the country is on the right path. If IMF is complaining, it means the country is on the right path. Montre mo your comment box ni mo medase.